This is the story of the vanishing fishermen of Apalachicola. Apalachicola is a small town in Florida with a population of just 2,300 people. It sits on the Apalachicola River about 50 miles from the Gulf of Mexico. And for many years, the town made its money mainly from fishing. But in recent years, the number of fishermen who never return from a trip has been steadily rising. Since 1987, more than 20 local fishermen have vanished without a trace, while doing what they loved most: fishing. And to this day, nobody knows what happened to them. In 1987, two fishermen set out on a trip from Apalachicola. They were both experienced fishermen who knew these waters like the back of their hands. They had all the necessary safety equipment, and they even had life buoys. So when they didn't return from their trip 2 days later, the Coast Guard was called in. Search was conducted, but no trace of the boat or the fishermen was ever found. This was the beginning of the strange occurrences that would come to be known as the vanishing fishermen of Apalachicola. Over the next few years, more and more boats would go missing. Sometimes the boats would be found adrift and abandoned, but most times there was no sign of the crew or the vessel. There were theories that the fishermen had fallen victim to piracy, but there was no evidence to support this. There were also theories that the fishermen had gotten lost at sea, or that their boats had capsized. But these theories didn't hold up either. The Coast Guard conducted a thorough investigation into each case, but they were unable to come to any definitive conclusions. One of the most perplexing aspects of these cases is that the fishermen were all experienced and well-respected members of the community. They knew these waters like the back of their hands, and they were all wearing life jackets. In addition, most of the boats that disappeared were large enough and in good enough condition to withstand the rough waters that the Gulf of Mexico can sometimes produce. Despite the lack of answers, the Coast Guard continued to investigate until 2006, when funding for the Apalachicola River ran out, and the search was called off. But even today, the families of the missing fishermen are hopeful that one day they will find out what happened to their loved ones. There have been many similar cases of missing boats found adrift with no crew aboard. For example, in 2011, a fishing boat was found off the coast of South Carolina with its 6 crew members missing. And in 2017, a sailing yacht was found abandoned in the Caribbean with no sign of the 4 people who had been on board. These cases remain unsolved, but they continue to baffle investigators and raise questions about the dangers of the sea. What do you think happened to the fishermen of Apalachicola? So let me know your thoughts in the comments below. If you enjoyed this video, stay tuned for more.